So my 2005 Ford Focus has right at 200,000 miles on it. And I've seen this P2004 code twice. The first time being in 2015, and at that time I found my two main vacuum lines were rotten, and also my intake manifold had the butterfly flaps on it were broken. So we can fast forward to 2023, and this year I found something a little different. So first let me show you what was happening when it would set the code. So what we're looking at here is the runner control motor and actuator arm. Now the car's been sitting overnight, so it's a cold start. You can see the actuator arm is down, the throttle by hand, and give it some RPMs. And you'll see it raise up, and once it raises up it stays there. Now when I goosed it, it should open the flaps like it's doing, but as the RPMs come back down it should go back to the closed position, which on my car it did not do that. I could literally drive all day and it would stay in the open position, and the only way it would close is if the car sat overnight. It took hours and hours for it to go back to the closed position. So when I was troubleshooting this, I knew enough to look at the actuator arm and I could see what was happening there, but I didn't really know how it was supposed to work. Here's what it looks like when everything's working correctly. So here's what the problem was: the runner control valve. Keep in mind that this valve right here does two jobs actually. It's supposed to close and open. So if it could work just the opposite of what we're seeing here and cause your actuator arm to remain in the closed position, and it will give you a P2006 code. So let me wrap things up here by saying something about the high idle. I'm talking 2 to 2500 RPM. Twice that's happened to me, and in both cases I found that the PCV hose had split. So in my case the hose lasted roughly 9 years on average, but 100,000 miles. So it's pretty annoying to have to look at the check engine light, but it's really the high idle that'll get your attention. In 2023, when this happened to me a second time, I had the high idle and the codes, so I knew when I pulled everything off I was replacing everything as well, and I replaced all these parts, including a new runner control valve, which was new but bad. So I ended up going to the auto salvage place and pulling one off a Focus that I found there. So just keep that in mind. I did save a ton of money by ordering off the internet compared to just buying locally from the AutoZone or whatever. But anyway, all that aside, the Ford Focus is a fun car to drive. It's real peppy, and I pull a 1,000-pound trailer with it, and it's a workhorse. So if you're driving around with the idle issue or the P code, I hope you don't hesitate to jump right in. If you have a good set of sockets, first time you do it, it might take 4 hours, but the second time I did it, it took 2 hours. On a scale to 1 to 10, it's probably a 4. And I guarantee you, when you get the parts replaced and the car's running right, you'll be happy. So here's the final shot of everything working right, and I'll catch you on the next one.